that the government ought to have provided. Okay, things like power, for example. If you're a small business, you have to bother about power. You get a generator. Water, you provide your own water. You provide your own security. At some point, you have to also help to do the road to your office and so on. So when you look at all these things, it does not encourage people to voluntarily say they want to pay tax, because on the part of government, they also feel the government is slacking. Government is not meeting its own responsibility. So that is the failure of the social contract, that has been with us.
Very unfortunately today, most of the ills that brought the military into governance, like tribalism, corruption, indiscriminate killings, and ethnic rivalry, are returning in full force. Has the country learned any lessons from the past?
It is a matter of regret for some of us in politics that from 1999 to now, to date, important lessons
Morning. It's a Monday morning and it's actually 26th of August 2024. I don't know about you. I know a lot of us get to be Monday is one of those days that we don't look up to. You just wish it away, but hey, it's upon us. It's good to approach it with every sense of positivity. This is Signature Morning and on Signature TV. And I'm not just going to do this alone. I have with me Joshua Oritogu. Good morning.
Good morning. Wonderful to be here again.
How was your weekend?
It was a long one, but it is what it is.
Okay. We'll just take global news just about now. Welcome to Global News on Signature TV. I am Chioma Lina Jean. In the headlines, police bust cattle rustlers, kidnappers and others in Kaduna. Nigerian Air Force strikes kill terrorists in Kaduna and Zamfara states. Southeast lawmakers urge tertiary institutions to comply with verification requests from NELFund. And Gaza patients flee Al-Qasr Hospital after Israeli evacuation order. Details shortly. The National Assembly Southeast Caucus has urged tertiary institutions in the zone to comply with the verification request of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFund, for disbursement of loan to students. The caucus, via its leaders, Senator Naya Abaribe and Rep. Igariwe Iduma Enwo, made the call in a statement in Abuja on Sunday. He said that the verification would allow students from institutions in the Southeast zone to benefit from the national program. The caucus said that it had observed the absence of beneficiaries from the Southeast tertiary institutions in the list of beneficiaries of the students' loan being disbursed by NELFund. According to the caucus, out of the 2.9 billion naira already disbursed to 27,667 students from 19 institutions in the country, Southeast higher institutions are conspicuously missing from the list. He said that NELFund, in his defense, has stated that absence of beneficiaries of Southeast institutions was because the institutions were yet to respond to NELFund's request for verification of lists sent to the institutions. The caucus therefore encouraged all students in the region who needed the support to ensure they apply for the loan. He said that this would help ameliorate some of the challenges limiting access to higher education, self-development, and growth. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors declared a 7-day warning strike over the abduction of Dr. Ganiyat Wokwola, who was kidnapped nearly 8 months ago at the National Eye Center in Kaduna State. NAD President Dr. Dele Abdullahi said the strike would begin Monday, August 26th. Abdullahi said the decision was made during the Emergency National Executive Council meeting. Wokwola, a registrar in the Department of Ophthalmology at the National Eye Center, Kaduna, was abducted on December 27, 2023, along with her husband and nephew. While her husband was released in March, Wokwola and her nephew remain in captivity. Members of NAD had protested in all tertiary hospitals across the nation to demand Dr. Wokwola's release. The indefinite strike action embarked upon by the Anambra State branch of the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, has been called off. In a statement signed by the chairman, Dr. Princeton Okam, and the secretary, Dr. Ifeanyi Obiale, on Sunday, the association said the decision followed the release of Dr. Stephen Eze, a private practitioner based in Ihiala, kidnapped since 15th August 2024. NMA appreciated the people of Anambra for bearing with them through the trying times, praying that such tribulation does not arise again. The release further directs that clinical services resume at 800 hours on Sunday, August 25th. Recall that the kidnap led the NMA to direct its members to down tools on August 22nd, after issuing a prior 48-hour ultimatum which was observed in full by doctors in private and government employment, thus worsening the cases of patients that needed treatment. The details of how Dr. Eze was released by his abductors are not readily available as at the time of this report. Residents of Thinkers Corner, ENUGU, have called on the state government to come to their rescue and rehabilitate most of the internal roads in the area. Those who spoke to correspondent Chinemeremi Kebunam lamented the harm done to their vehicles as a result of the deplorable conditions of the roads. They particularly drew attention to the portions of the Alo Street, especially the spots in front of the Oju Zokalo estate, which they said has become almost impassable.
Sullivan did some portion of the road, and then after, it was out of pressure that the one between that express junction and that point there was done by Buruburu. The transporters mounted pressure because then it was difficult accessing Thinkers Corner from that angle. But eventually he did it up to this point and stopped. But the ray of hope now is that I listened to the news the other day in the roads program of His Excellency Governor Mba that he included Thinkers Corner. I hope part of what we are doing now, we ginger them up. The roads are not terribly bad, they're not good enough for the kind of citizens and for the kind of promises they have in their manifesto when they were campaigning.
They observed that the road, if put in good shape, will be a major bypass that will decongest the ever-busy Ababa Junction, as those traveling to Emene and Naira Triangle area of the state could easily use the road.
The bad road we are facing here is too much and is spoiling people's cars plenty. Like some place now, some people's car is being come and hang on the road. Not, you can't move less they can look for people to push it out so you understand. So this is how we are facing this. And the road every time is like this Ozuzokalo Street. It can't work as people think. Like every time water is following there. Even for drying season, that place is can't dry. So every time the road has fallen more.
If you go some places, you will see say they are working on the roads. But these Thinkers Corner, like government, they are not passing here to see how that Thinkers Corner road is. See university for up there and see road. The road is very bad. It's not good. See school close. There's one big school in this place. See AC drugs here and see road. They are not living in the good roads. The road is very, any car that comes here now, unless somebody will find someone to help him to push the car. Any person will come here and say he wants use leg, unless he go wait for keke carry and cross before he go where they go. Because this road is bad.
They lamented the plight of commuters and drivers plying the roads, as well as those whose schools, churches, businesses, homes are located in the area.
You can't have a good road, whether of trunk A or trunk B or trunk C, without drainage. So if you construct a road without a drainage, it will wear us very soon. So when people complain about the state of roads, road infrastructure, you agree with me, is part of the development index. Road, water, light, shelter, security. You follow? So for an urban area, that is why I say I'm happy with what I had in the news. The program for roads in ENUGU, we have already seen some of them, and I'm happy they remember Thinkers Corner, this time around, and more so the rural areas. So, but specifically for Tinker's Corner, if you compare it to other parts of the cities, you say that we are still better off, but we should have better than what we're having now.
The Ababa Thinkers Corner Emene Airport Road has severely appeared on the list of roads slated for rehabilitation by the ENUGU state government. But serious work has never been done on the road, whose condition has been worsened by lack of drainage channels. The Kaduna State Police Command has arrested 2 cattle rustlers and 2 notorious gun runners, while also foiling a kidnapping attempt in separate operations across the state. The command's public relations officer, Masera Hassan, ASP, added that the police apprehended Aminu Saleh and Jaffa Ibrahim, both members of a syndicate responsible for rustling cattle from innocent farmers in the Kasuwa Magani area of Kujama. In a related development, Hassan, in a statement issued on Sunday, said operatives also foiled a kidnapping attempt and arrested 3 suspects who were demanding a ransom of 10 million naira from their victim. He continued that the police arrested 2 suspects involved in supplying arms and ammunition to kidnappers operating in Kaduna, Katsina, and Zamfara state. According to him, a fabricated AK-47 rifle and 5 rounds of 9mm live ammunition were recovered during the operation. The police spokesman quoted the State Commissioner of Police, Audu Ali Dagbigi, to have commended the operatives for their efforts and urged the public to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activities to the nearest police station. He reassured residents of the command's commitment to dismantling criminal networks and ensuring the safety and well-being of all citizens across the state. The Nigerian Air Force on Sunday said several terrorists were killed during an air interdiction on the Malum Forest in Kaduna State. Most of the terrorists are responsible for recent attacks on civilians, abduction, and cattle rustling within the Shiroro local government of Niger State. A statement by NAF spokesman, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gawet, said the operation was carried out on Saturday, August 24th, by the air component of Operation Well Punch. He said in response to the recent upsurge of terrorist activities targeting innocent civilians in Niger State, the air component of Operational Well Punch has continued in its efforts to track, locate, and eliminate the terrorists responsible. Intelligence gathered had revealed that most of the terrorists responsible for recent attacks on civilians, abductions, and cattle rustling within Shiroro local government area of Niger State were domiciled in Kaduna State. Additional intelligence further revealed the sightings of these terrorists as they relocated from Alawa Forest in Niger State after their nefarious act to their stronghold in Malum Forest in Igbabi local government area of Kaduna State. Gabwet noted that the battle damage revealed that several of the terrorists were killed as a result of the strike. He said consequently, the air component planned and executed an air interdiction mission on the terrorist stronghold at Malum Forest. Gabwet also said similar strikes were carried out in the Marundun local government area of Zamfara State. The Islamic Movement of Nigeria, popularly known as Shiite, has alleged that the Nigerian police attacked the peaceful Al-Babin symbolic trek in Wuse, Abuja, killing and injuring many of the mourners. The police, however, dismissed the allegation and accused the group of attacking its officers. The Shiites were holding an Al-Babin walk, the ceremonial trek that marks the end of a 40-day mourning period of the death of the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, SAW, Imam Hussein. The movement, in a statement on Sunday signed by Sheikh Sidi Sokoto for the Islamic movement and the Shiite leader Ibrahim el-Zalzaki, movement and the Shiite leader Ibrahim el-Zalzaki said the work, which was previously held in Masaka and Zuba Axis on Saturday, was peaceful and successful. They added that medical practitioners were currently attending to the injured protesters and that details of those killed, injured, and arrested will be made available subsequently. The Federal Capital Territory Commission of Police, Bennett Igwe, has vowed to apprehend the members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, popularly known as Shiite, responsible for the gruesome murder of his personnel. According to the CP, 2 police officers were killed and 4 police officers, including a female, were unconscious at the hospital. He added that 3 police vehicles were burnt by the Shiite members. Addressing journalists on Sunday night, the CP said the Shiite members had provoked the police by attacking them. He vowed to hunt all responsible for the dastardly act. Igwe denied the police attacked the Shiite members, insisting that the attack on his men was unprovoked. Igwe said 52 Shiite members are in their custody. The royal family of late traditional ruler of Aduachi in Oji River local government area, Ohabuenyi Vincent Ilo, on Sunday marked the 61st wedding anniversary of the late Igwe and his heartthrob, Lolo Roslyn Ilo. The event, which was traditionally held at the country home of the Ilo family, shifted to the ENUGU residence of the matriarch, and unlike in the past when it was an occasion for the immediate family, the signature family and immediate neighbor of Mama took part in this year's celebrations.
It fell on the particular day that my parents wedded 65 years ago, on the 25th of August, 1963, was when they got married. So today is the 61st anniversary. We used to celebrate it with our father until 2016, when he passed away. But as long as I remember, we always had something like this, even when we were very little. He would invite his own sisters and brothers and extended family. Most times, we usually do it in the village. It's actually done in our village, not any other place. So, and before he died, he insisted that even if it was one person remaining, that this day must be observed. We call it our family birthday. So I welcome all of you. We didn't plan anything. It was just when my father was around, we used to celebrate it with. We normally won't invite people, but people from everywhere in the village knew that day they will always come. So there was no invitation or whatever. But you know, the signature people have become part of our family now. So that's why we are letting you into this family.
Hallelujah.
Moment for prayers and thanksgiving as the joy of Mama Lolo Roslyn Ilo knew no bound. The eldest son and president of Signature TV said his late father and wife built a unique family and prepared all their children for great success in life.
2016, 8 years ago, and our mom has remained strong, a constant reminder of the values they instilled in us growing up. She's not as strong as she used to be. Just like Joe Biden told Americans, he said, I don't debate as I used to debate. I don't walk as I used to walk. But you know one thing? Something I did, I still do, and I'll continue to do. I tell the truth. You didn't see the video. Well, even though she can't walk around like she used to walk and all that, she's still a reminder to the values that are very important in every family for us. And I think that both of them were very successful parents. We were 6. One has left us. But those remaining include me. And I don't think I've done badly.
Vin Martin Obiora Ilo, while appreciating his beloved mother for being their late father's backbone and making sure that his siblings were all successful, asked God for more years upon his mother's life.
You and your husband did for us.
Thank you.
We are not in any way ungrateful. But we're even more grateful to God that you're still with us and that you're still on this journey with us. And we are Oliver Twist. We continue to ask God that He must keep you for many more years to see us grow, because we are still growing.
So we thank God for our mom, for the gift of life, and we continue to pray that the good Lord will protect her, protect the family, give her long life. I was just telling my story when I was still a junior seminarian. I go na parish, but I'm on me, I watch class in our parish. Yes, what many I say, so I will never forget that. That was so many years ago. Oh, can you translate in English for those that are
okay. When that the summary of the prayer is that is a song we say to hand our family over to God.
Yes.
That we hand everything over to Him, because we know there's no power that is greater than His. That's the summary.
He shared beautiful moments with his family, spiritual father, friends, colleagues, and well-wishers to commemorate his late father's birthday and 61st wedding anniversary. The national chairman of the ruling All Progressive Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, has hailed Friday's judgment of the Supreme Court affirming the election victories of Imo Governor Hope Uzodinma and his Kogi counterpart, Usman Ododo. This was disclosed in a statement issued on Sunday by Ganduje's Chief Press Secretary, Edwin Olofu. The two-term governor of Kano State and the landmark judgment was not only a testament to the confidence Imo and Kogi people have in the party and its candidates, but also a reaffirmation of the rule of law and the integrity of Nigeria's judicial system, they said. The APC national chairman further stated that the ruling party is proud of the exceptional leadership displayed by both governors in their respective states. Ganduje commended the Supreme Court for its thorough and unbiased adjudication, which has further strengthened the democratic fabric of our great nation. He urged both governors Uzodinma and Ododo to continue their outstanding work in delivering the dividends of democracy to the people of their states and to uphold the values and principles that the APC stands for. Up ahead, federal government to support affected flooded states with 3 billion naira. Infrastructure development stimulates economic growth. Senator, do stay with us. An agriculturalist, Mr. Ibrahim Olayeni, has called on Lagos residents to embrace urban farming and promote agricultural practice to increase food production in the state. Olayeni made the call during a program organized by the Lagos State Muslims community titled Mosque Documentation in conjunction with Market Convenience. According to Olayeni, who is a staff of the Lagos State Ministry of Agriculture, said that urban farming involved taking advantage of little space and meager resource facilities to practice agriculture and enhance food production. He says some benefits of urban farming included increased food production, provision of job opportunities, and as well as efficient use of little spaces available. The expert said that urban farming would also attract young people to farming activities, which would in turn enhance learning and innovation in modern agricultural practices. He said that crops majorly planted in urban farming are leafy vegetables, which include soko, tete, ewedu, spring onion, and lettuce. Olayani said that fruit vegetables like tomatoes, pepper, carrots, onion, okra, pepper, cabbage, and crops like yam could also be planted in urban farming. He said that communities which engage in urban farming could form cooperatives and register with relevant government agencies and ministry to attract recognition and other benefits. Olayani encouraged residents to approach any agricultural training centers in Lagos State, like the Farm Service Center, Okoba, Agege. Also speaking, the convener of the program, Alhaji Adele Sani, urged Muslims to organize themselves and purchase foodstuff in bulk to ease food hardship in the council. A Muslim scholar, Alhaji Tajuddin Uzamat, urged the Muslim communities to engage in urban farming, saying it could assist government to reduce food hardship in the country. The federal government says it will support states affected by flood with 3 billion naira to mitigate the effect of the menace. Wale Edun, Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, disclosed this while interacting with journalists at the Government House, Benin, Kebbi, on Sunday. The minister spoke shortly after inspecting some areas affected by flood in Kebbi. Edun said he will announce that the National Economic Council has been proactive and has taken action in order to support all the states of the Federation and the FCT with 3 billion naira to mitigate the effect of flood this year. And this will put many states like Kebbi in a good position to be able to prepare their farmers to the important dry season farming, which they anticipate will be successful, well planned and well implemented. He said this would lead to success, paving way for food availability at reasonable, affordable prices, adding that it will lower inflation and help to further stabilize the economy. He expressed President Bola Tinubu's willingness to assist them to maintain its level of security, resilience, and to improve and increase its productivity and become the food basket of Nigeria. Also speaking, the Minister of Economic Planning, Senator Atiku Bagudu, lamented that the flooding had affected many local governments beyond what he saw when he visited the areas recently. He, however, commended the resilience and confidence of Kebbi people, assuring that they would be mobilized to do better during the dry season farming. The minister said that apart from the 3 billion naira, the federal government had approved a renewed Hope Infrastructure Fund that will be used for funding, among other things, the Badagry-Sokoto Road. The Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria on Sunday described the state of the nation as worrisome, noting that Nigeria is recently sitting on a ticking time bomb under President Bola Tinubu. The Catholic body of bishops also said that as long as the issues of poverty, hardship, and corruption continue to be the lots of Nigerians, the nations should be ready to contend with more protest. They also expressed grave concern about the nation's growing debt burden, adding that servicing huge debts to international monetary agencies and sourcing for funds internally to balance budget deficit led to the economic reforms of the president, consisting mainly in the withdrawal of fuel subsidies and the floating of naira. President of the Catholic body, who is the Archbishop of Owerri, and the President of the Catholic Bishop Conference of Nigeria, Most Reverend Lucius Ugoji, stated this in his welcome address at the opening session of the 2024 Second Plenary Assembly of the CBCN, taking place in Auchi, Esako West local government area of Edo State. While declaring the conference open, Ugoji said the future of the nation depends on how the challenges bedeviling the nation are tackled, expressing optimism that trust in God would transform the country. The chairman, Senate Committee on Appropriation and Senator representing Ogun West, Olamilekan Adeola, had said investment in infrastructure, especially in providing a good network of roads, will stimulate economic growth and transformation. Adeola, in a statement on Sunday by his media advisor, Kayode Odunaro, said his determination to focus on road reconstruction in the senatorial district was to further boost the economic growth in the area and allow for unhindered movement of people, goods, and services. Adeola was said to have facilitated the construction of 13 road projects, which were part of his delivery in 1 year as lawmaker representing Ogun West, while about 20 others ongoing were said to be at various states of completion. Dioni Upokia of Ipokia, Obayisa Alaniya, commended the senator for facilitating the project, adding that the lawmaker's representation has brought about a lot of socio-economic development to the senatorial district. The Securities and Exchange Commission has encouraged investors to take advantage of the revamped e-dividend portal to mandate their accounts and emphasizing the platform's security and user-friendliness. The SEC Director General, Emomtimi Agama, highlighted the portal as a secure means for investors to manage their dividends and mitigate the growing issue of unclaimed dividends. Agama said that the portal is fully protected against cyber security threats and accessible through the SEC's official website or the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System platform. He also warned against using unofficial sites, advising investors to only use the SEC's website for accessing the e-dividend portal. Addressing concerns about the requirement for bank verification numbers on the portal, the SEC Director General explained that the BVN remains the most reliable method for verifying investor identities in the financial sector. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says at least 400,000 youths abuse drugs in Enugu State. This was disclosed by the Enugu State Commander of the NDLEA, Abel Sunu Wadahi, during a courtesy call on the chairman, Enugu State Council of Traditional Rulers, Igwe Samuel Ikechukwu Asadu. He said that the state of drug abuse in the state was worrisome and that if left unchecked, posed serious danger in the near future. The commander, who said that the youths take pride in cannabis, tramadol, mkpuru, cocaine, among others, appealed to the monarch and traditional ruler of Edemani ENUGU to join hands with the agency in the anti-drug abuse war. He disclosed that the NDLEA Center in Enugu has been in existence for the past 10 years with doctors, nurses, psychologists, and counselors. Responding, Asado accepted the role of ambassador of war against drug abuse, describing the war against drug abuse as a collective fight that should be tackled with every sense of seriousness until youth say no to any kind of drug. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has arrested a businessman who allegedly excreted 68 wraps of cocaine at the local wings of Murtala Mohammed Airport International Airport, MMIA, Ikeja, Lagos. The NDLEA spokesman, Femi Babafemi, said in a statement on Sunday in Abuja that the Onitsha, Anambra State-based businessman, Iban Nosike, excreted the cocaine after 12 days of excretion observation. Babafemi said that the 36-year-old Nosike was arrested at the early hours of Thursday, August 8th, at the old domestic terminal of the Lagos airport while attempting to board the first flight out of Lagos to Abuja to join a Qatar Airways flight to Vietnam at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The suspect, who came under NDLEA surveillance following intelligence, had arrived Lagos from his base in Onitsha, Anambra State, the previous day. He said he was later intercepted by NDLEA operatives who moved him into excretion observation, where he spent the next 12 days excreting the cocaine pellets weighing 1.3 kilograms. Babafemi also announced the arrest of a Vietnam-bound businessman, 54-year-old Paul Mbadwara, by the NDLEA operatives at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, NAIA, Abuja, on August 12th, during the outward clearance of Qatar Airways flight. A former Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Tallinn, has urged the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to make the country's electoral system conducive for women to participate actively in politics and contribute their quota to national development. Talley, who made the call at a book launch in Abuja, decried the low number of women in the political space and the refusal of the political parties in the country to make their condition flexible for women participation. According to Talley, there are countless number of women that can stand shoulder to shoulder with men when it comes to political issues, adding that better conditions must be given if this must happen. She called on women to come out en masse to vote for their right candidate in the forthcoming Edo and Ondo elections and appreciated President Bola Tinubu women along in his government. The chairman in ENUGU State Council of Traditional Rulers, Igwe Simon Ikechukwu, who observed that the call for gender inclusiveness was not limited to Nigeria, added his voice to the campaign for an end to violence against women. The Senate Deputy Chief Whip, Onyekachi Nweboyi, has urged the federal government to investigate the late fertilizer distribution to states by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. Nweboyi, who is an APC member representing Ebonyi North Senatorial District, made the call at his hometown, Mbeke Ishieke, Ebonyi local government area, while distributing over 2,200 bags of fertilizer to farmers across the senatorial district. The lawmaker said the investigation should be immediate, as the late distribution had negated the objective of making the input available to farmers in the 2024 farming season. He insisted that most prevail on President Bola Tinubu to investigate those behind the delay, as the input is arriving in Ebonyi State when farmers are already harvesting their crops. He said when farmers receive input on time, it helps them plan their farming season well, and maintain that fertilizer distribution through intermediaries should be looked into because its inherent problems negate intended objectives. An economic expert has urged the federal government to invest profit declared by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited in critical sectors to boost the nation's economy. The Executive Director, Africa International Trade and Commerce Research, Dr. Sandom Bakalo, gave the advice on Sunday in Abuja. Mbakalo said that for Nigeria to fully experience the benefits of the declared profits, transparency in the allocation of funds was essential, insisting that the funds must be directed towards critical areas of the economy that could directly benefit the population. He said that the profit could significantly boost investors' confidence, as if reflected some level of effective management and suggested potentially stable returns within Nigeria's oil and gas sector. The NNPC Limited had on August 19 declared a net profit of 3.3 trillion naira at the close of the financial year, which ended in December 2023, which represent an increase of over 700 billion naira or 28% when compared to the point profit of 2.5 trillion naira. The acting governor of Niger State, Yakubu Garba, is appealing to the federal government to urgently redeploy military forces to the Alawa community in the Shirolo local government area of the state, which was recently overrun by armed bandits. The federal government had withdrawn troops from the area 5 months ago, a decision that has left the community vulnerable to incessant attacks by bandits. Governor Garba's appeal came in the wake of a fresh devastating attack in which 13 farmers were brutally killed while working in their fields on the outskirts of the Alawa community. He said the attack has further exacerbated this insecurity in the region, leaving residents in fear for their lives and prompting many to flee to safer areas. According to him, the federal government's response to the crisis will be crucial in determining the future of Alawa and other affected communities in the region. The absence of military protection has emboldened the criminals, leading to frequent raids, killings, and the displacement of hundreds of residents. The recent attack on the farmers is a stark reminder of the deteriorating security situation in the area. Up ahead, far-right youth organizations hold protests after Solingen stabbing. Gaza patients flee Al-Quds hospital after Israeli evacuation order. Details in a moment. The youth organization of the far-right political party Alternative for Germany, AFD, staged a protest in Solingen on Sunday following the arrest of a 26-year-old Syrian man suspected of the stabbing attack on Friday that left 3 people dead and 8 injured. The group was met with counter-protesters chanting slogans like "All Together Against Fascism." Some of the counter-protesters clashed with the police. The German prosecutors identified the 26-year-old Syrian man suspected of the stabbing attack as Isa al-H, omitting his family name because of the German privacy law, and said he was suspected of being a member of Islamic State. Hezbollah leader Syed Hassan Nasrallah said on Sunday that his group would assess the impact of his rocket and drone attack on Israeli military targets earlier in the day before determining whether it would carry out further attacks to avenge a slain commander. The leader of the Lebanese armed group said that it had been able to carry out its attack as planned, denying statements by the Israeli military that its preemptive strikes had stopped a wider attack by the group. Nasrallah, speaking about 12 hours after the most intense exchange of fire between Iran-backed Hezbollah and Israel since hostilities broke out in parallel with the war in Gaza, said the group had intentionally refrained from targeting civilians or public infrastructure, including Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv. He said the group would assess the results of the operation, a retaliation for Israel's killing of top Hezbollah commander Fuad Shuk on the edges of Beirut last month. Hezbollah fighters had successfully launched a volley of more than 300 Katyusha rockets to distract Israel's Iron Dome defenses before sending attack drones. He said they included drones fired from the eastern Bekaa Valley, a first for the group. None of the drone or rocket launches were damaged in Israel's preemptive strikes. Nasrallah said Hezbollah had not planned a larger attack, specifically denying Israeli military statement that the group had intended to fire thousands of projectiles. But he acknowledged that the operation had been delayed for several reasons, including what he called a mobilization of Israeli and American military assets in the region. Gazans patients were seen leaving Al-Aqsa Hospital in Deir al-Balah on Sunday to the nearby areas following Israeli army evacuation orders. Palestinians said the new evacuation orders will impact the area close to Al-Aqsa Hospital, which serves hundreds of thousands of Palestinians currently overcrowding the central Gaza areas. Families were moving with what they can carry to the nearby places. The recent war in Gaza started after Hamas militants attacked Israel on October 7th, killing 1,200 people, according to Israeli tallies. Israel says it goes out of its way to avoid civilian casualties and accuses Hamas of using human shields, an allegation the group denies. The 2024 Paralympic Games torch reached France via the Channel Tunnel on Sunday. The torch relay began on Saturday in Stoke Mandeville, England, where the event was first imagined by neurologist Ludwig Guttmann in 1948. On Sunday, British athletes carried the torch midway through the Channel Tunnel before handing over to French competitors who crossed over to Calais in the host country. The flame will make its way to Paris, where it will be used to light the Paralympic cauldron during the opening ceremony on Wednesday. Ryan Evans, a member of the Reuters team covering the war in Ukraine, was killed and 2 Reuters journalists were injured in a strike on a hotel in the eastern Ukrainian city of Kramatorsk on Sunday. 6 months ago, Evans took a selfie in Be'eri, southern Israel, near the Gaza border, where he was working with the news reporting team. Evans, a former British soldier, had been working as a safety advisor with Reuters since 2022 and advised its journalists on safety around the world, including in Ukraine, Israel, and at the Paris Olympics. Evans was killed after a missile struck the Hotel Sapphire, where he was staying as part of a 6-person team on Saturday. 2 of the agency's journalists were being treated in hospital. One of them was seriously injured. The Russian Defense Ministry did not respond to a request for comment. Reuters was not able to independently verify if the missile that hit the hotel was fired by Russia or if it was a deliberate strike on that building. Australian employees can ignore their bosses outside work hours thanks to a new right to disconnect, designed to curb the creep of emails and calls into personal life. The new rule, which came into force Monday, means employees cannot be punished for refusing to read or respond to contact from their employers outside work hours. Supporters say the law gives workers the confidence to stand up against the steady invasion of their personal life by work emails, texts, and calls, a trend that accelerated since the pandemic scrambled the division between home and work. To cater for emergencies and jobs with irregular hours, the rule still allows employers to contact their workers, who can only refuse to respond where it is reasonable to do so. Determining whether a refusal is reasonable will be up to Australia's industrial empire, which must take into account their role, personal circumstances, and how and why the contact was made.
I think it's an excellent idea. I hope it catches on. I doubt it'll catch on in our industry, to tell the truth, though. Well, you know, we are professionals, we're well paid, we're expected to deliver, and we feel we have to deliver 24 hours a day if we have to. So the phone's always on, the computer's always on, and we're working.
With my role in particular, being that it's a service nature, I feel like I'm expected to be on the line. So because I'm not engaging necessarily with my boss, I'm also with clients and whatnot. There's more of an expectation that I'm on the line after hours, and that's fine. That's the nature of the role. Because there's that I guess that dynamic with clients, it's fine, I guess, if my boss was to call, because that's just how it is.
I think it's actually really important that we have laws like this. We spend so much of our time connected to our phones, connected to our emails all day, and I think that it's really hard to switch off as it is. So having these laws come into place where, you know, we really do disconnect is really important, especially like in my life where I have external clients who need to get a hold of me.
Well, I think it'll take a bit of bedding down, this reform. Some people may, you know, mistakenly believe that they can just kind of shut down and not respond to work communications now. Some employers may be a bit worried that it is a blanket ban on all communications outside work. So it'll take a bit of getting used to and working out how to put it in place in different workplaces. And if it leads to conversations in workplaces or collective negotiations and discussions about what's okay and what's not okay, so that everybody gets in on the same page in terms of what's reasonable. And, you know, it should help workplaces work out, managers and employees work out together between them what's needed and what's unnecessary, and better ways of doing things. That's what I would hope this leads to. The nature of your role, your occupation and your level of responsibility. There are clearly jobs where you have reasonable expectations of needing to be available after hours because of your particular responsibilities.
The Philippines on Sunday accused Chinese vessels of blocking a ship transporting provisions to Filipino fishermen in the South China Sea, saying they had made aggressive and dangerous maneuvers, including ramming the ship and using water cannons. Handout footage from the Philippines South China Sea Task Force showed the Chinese Coast Guard ramming and using water cannon at a fishery vessel. Manila's South China Sea Task Force said in a statement that the Philippines Bureau of Fisheries vessel was targeted by the People's Liberation Army Navy ship and multiple China Coast Guard ships, which attempted to encircle and block the humanitarian mission. China's Coast Guard said it had taken control measures against the Philippine vessel that illegally entered into the water near the Sabina shore and had repeatedly approached its ships in a dangerous manner. And that's all we have with the news, global news at this hour on Signature Morning on Signature TV. I am Chomalina. Thanks for staying with us. Up next, Signature Morning still continues.
Why do people evade tax? Why is it that the propensity or the tendency to evade tax is very high in Nigeria? It has to do with the social contract, the failure on the part of government, to fulfill its own part. Okay, a situation where individuals or firms provide virtually everything they need that the government ought to have provided. Okay, things like power, for example. If you're a small business, you have to bother about power. You get a generator. Water, you provide your own water. You provide your own security. At some point, you have to also help to do the road to your office and so on. So when you look at all these things, it does not encourage people to voluntarily say they want to pay tax, because on the part of government, they also feel the government is slacking. Government is not meeting its own responsibility. So that is the failure of the social contract, that has been with us.
on Signature TV. Of course, you can follow us on all of our social media platforms, on Instagram, on Facebook, and Twitter, and on TikTok. And we're currently live on Facebook and YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, comment, share your own perspective. My name is still Joshua Ritogo, of course, and Chioma Lina just finished the global news. Chioma, how are you again? And which of the news caught your attention, all of the ones that you read?
I was about to ask you that.
If you ask me, let me just say it then. It's the Reuters guy. I really felt like he's one of us, and yeah, died in action.
There was a twist. You know, before then, the one that caught me was the Paralympics. You know, seeing the people happy, you know, got away, it brought joy this morning, extra joy. I've always had joy.
It is a beautiful morning, and then we'll have lots and lots of things in stock for you, from the newspaper headline to the reviews, and we'll be going to different interview segments to keep your day packed full, informed, and detailed to understand what is going on around you and the country at large. We're going to be going for a very short break, and when we come back, we will be starting with the newspaper headline. Welcome back. This is Signature Morning, and we'll be starting with the newspaper headlines. And first on the newspaper headline today is the Daily Trust.
And on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, with a screaming headline: days after killing Emir, bandits abduct over 150 in Gobert.
2 cops trader killed as police shoots class in Abuja again.
And on page 7, IG hands over 20 rescued medical students to Unimed, Unijos.
And on page 36, we have court freezes 32 bank accounts linked to end bad governance protests.
You know, it feels this emirs, they just keep...
Popping
anyway.
up.
Tinubu others mourn as Emir of Ningi buried amid tears.
Moving over to the next newspaper headline, we
would go with the Nation newspaper. And on the Nation newspaper this morning, 2 policemen killed during clash with Islamic group in FCT.
And Dangote Otedola Elumelu back federal government's move to eliminate malaria.
Okonjo-Iweala canvasses economic policy consistency.
And court freezes 32 accounts of individuals firm linked to August protests. You can find this on the page 5 of the Nation.
$150 million on airport terminal ready for inauguration.
Set to deploy technology in eradicating unclaimed dividends. You can find this on page 6.
Okay, I'm moving over to the next newspaper. And on the Nigerian Tribune this morning, court freezes 32 bank accounts.
And above the mast, malaria. Federal government picks Dangote Otedola Elumelu to drive efforts to end scourge.
Ondo to host biggest entrepreneurship festival in Africa. Event to attract over 200 investors. With the rider, Aida Tiwa receives official license, assures organizers on hitch-free event. And that's on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune.
And on page 26, terrorism. Federal government resumes trial of 300 suspects.
On page 23, Tinubu should act on calls for new constitution. Anyoko.
And finally, on the Nigerian Tribune, we have 2 police officers killed as cities. Police clash in Abuja.
And on the Guardian this morning, Forex execution hitches threaten food waiver policy as farmers kick. Forex execution hitches threaten food waiver policy as farmers kick. On page 6 of the Guardian.
And on page 8, we have ENUGU uncovers 2,640 ghost pensioners, begins payment of council pensioners.
On page 3, Okonjo-Iweala asks politicians to stop weaponizing insecurity.
Tunisian president reshuffles cabinet, replaces 19 ministers ahead of election.
2 kidnapped in Abuja, Shiite police clash, bandits kidnap 150 in Sokoto.
The unholy secrecy of the National Assembly members' pay package.
Serap asks governors Wike to disclose details of Chinese loans. And I think the last one is Atiku chides Tinubu over citizens' rights violation. Atiku chides Tinubu over citizens' rights violation. And moving over to the next newspaper this morning, This Day. And on this day, just above the mast, federal government moves to eliminate malaria, taps Dangote, Otedola, Elumelu to drive efforts to end scourge.
I would really like to discuss this later, but at NBA conference, Tinubu vows to protect rule of law, tolerates dissenting voices.
You know, with the thought that they're still saying that, they keep saying that that fuel scarcity would decrease. But here we have another headline that says fuel scarcity persists in Lagos, others.
And third coronation anniversary of the Olu of Warri.
There is actually something that we should have highlighted when you read that at NBA conference, Tinubu Valso.
Oh yeah,
he said a rider, Okonjo-Iweala, expresses concern about slow pace of Nigeria's development. Lagos has more women in judiciary than any other state, says Sanwo-Olu. Okay, and the next, okay, and on the Vanguard this morning, just above the mast, federal government moves to eliminate malaria. Why? Okay. Federal government moves to eliminate malaria. I will leave this for Josh. Federal government moves to eliminate malaria, picks Dangote, Otedola, Elumelu to drive efforts.
And on page 32 of the Vanguard, we have court freezes 32 accounts linked to hashtag end bad governance protests.
A federal government to yet implement 2 months after. With the rider, federal government still working on implementation framework 2 months after. Minister. Delay not worth it. People are dying. Oladibolu. Government must progressively intervene in high tariffs. Akintaya. Implementation details must be properly worked out. Ifeanyi.
Catholic bishop converse regional government, asks Tinubu to fight hunger grafts.
Nigerians hope for lower cement price dims. Nigerians hope for lower cement price dims.
And Olu of Warri honors UTM, FLNG, Boss and Rone.
And we're moving over to the Punch. And on the Punch newspaper this morning, you read September rollout. Tinubu panel, Dangote refinery brainstorm on petrol pricing. With the rider, President's Committee refinery to conclude talks on Naira crude supply, petrol pricing.
And interestingly, in a very interesting note, we have on the page 2, flooding, Delta Kogi creates IDP camps, Anambra, Kwara, 1 communities.
Okay. And still on page 2, states oppose federal government's 600 billion naira vote for 70,000 wage.
And that is that on the newspaper headlines this morning. We're going to be moving straight to the newspaper review with Chris Madika. Chris Madika is here with us in the studio. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Josh.
Wonderful to have you here.
Yes. Good morning, Chomalina. John.
Jean.
Okay, that's wonderful. Good to be here this bright and early morning. Want to welcome all our people who watch us Signature Television.
Yes, so moving straight to the newspaper headline, one of them that came across all the newspaper, I think, apart from the Punch, is, let's go to the, This Day. Federal government moves to eliminate malaria. I particularly choose This Day because of the word that was used, or the particular word, taps Dangote, Otedola, Elumelu to drive efforts to end scourge.
Well, I want to look at this issue of malaria as an international war. It's an international war against the developing nations of Africa. And the people who the war is directed against do not see it as war. I've been around for some time. In fact, I am on malaria treatment as I speak.
I hope you're getting better.
2 jabs. I'm taking 2 jabs. Normally, they will recommend 3 days jabs. The remaining one for today. So, since my childhood till now,
yes.
Almost on a monthly basis, I treat malaria. And we see malaria business as an international syndicate to milk Africa. Nobody wants to eliminate malaria. Let us not deceive nobody. It's a business. And you want to eliminate malaria, you are tapping big men again to monopolize. What can federal government, what is the Federal Ministry of Health doing since our lives? Where are the scientists? Where are we carrying our life and give it to Dangote and they will go back there and start fighting again?
My question is...
Now, will the international community allow you to even eliminate malaria? What do we have? The pharmaceutical organizations that are in Nigeria have all vamoosed. They've all left to the shores of Nigeria because they can't even stay here to produce drugs.
Chris, wait, before you go on, hold that thought. Elumelu, Dangote, and who, are they experts, or is it just because of their financial power?
This I'm telling you.
I think it's their money.
It's so
it's their money. So it's just about money.
That's what I'm talking about. It's purely money thing. Because imagine when these are the people being tapped. No single scientist among them.
No doctor.
No doctor. No university teaching hospital associated. And they are going to eliminate malaria. You have not given Dangote enough crude to refine and give us fuel. You are dumping malaria on him and tapping him to also carry malaria. He produced cement. And he gone into refining business, oil refining. He's into sugar and essential commodities. And it's not enough. You look Nigerians to the eyes and tap that you are tapping to handle malaria. Why not leave us to suffer malaria? No. We used to treat malaria with 25 naira, 25 kobo. What they call it, the chloroquine. Very bitter. when I was growing up, your parents say you take chloroquine. There used to be another one.
But chloroquine has its side effect.
Whatever. Who decides on the side effect?
No, on your body. It has a side effect.
Which one does not have side effect? Is it the SCT they gave us now to make it more expensive to treat malaria? That is not. You treat 25 kobo malaria. Now it's about 15,000 naira to treat malaria comfortably well in Nigeria.
Remember, this is from experience.
And then you are saying, I'm talking from experience. Yes. And you are talking about side effects. What are we doing in this life does not have side effects?
No, but really, I'm not playing the devil's advocate, but they might ask, okay, who should we dump it on? Should we dump it on you? So it also
mobilize the scientists to research and find us cure for malaria, support them. Every country have a research and development, R&D. There's no sustainability. What is the professors doing? Professors of medicine, so much chips on their shoulders. They've gone abroad. They've written papers. Simple malaria. Why the world is finding cure for HIV? Nobody wants to eliminate malaria. Just talk about it. It's annoying. Let's not talk about it. And then the even more annoying to dump it on billionaires to go and eliminate malaria in Nigeria. That's what I found so deceiving. And it's part of these things that does not work. It doesn't reason well. You devote money, mobilize our scientists, research, give the deadline. Research and get us cure for malaria. And you find out that Africans, our forefathers, that's what they keep killing. I've been curing malaria with leaves they can pick up from. And they say that one doesn't have those, doesn't have. Who decides on even all this?
So, Chris, does this actually, in a larger sense, does this insinuate in some way that it's possible that the federal government wants to use the federal government money for other projects so that health projects, and the budget for health will be dumped on individuals to fix.
Very
No,
smart
it's
thinking.
it's
Very
just
smart
one
thinking.
aspect of our
no,
budget.
because
is given to
obviously,
them.
like we can attest, Otedola, Dangote, Elumelu, they are not pediatricians, neither are they gynecologists. If they are, we haven't come to know it. So if they are asking them to do this, it's basically for their money. It insinuates rather that it's for their money. So the federal government probably will use the federal government money to pay salaries of senators, something like that, and fix road.
We have had tags, projects tagged, roll back malaria, fight back malaria, kill malaria, do this malaria over 5 decades. And we're receiving foreign aid to fight malaria in Nigeria. The same foreign organizations that heavy funded pharmaceutical business in the world are sending you, they come here. This is the only where we find, Africa is where you find malaria. Check the population of Africa. And check the market for malaria drugs. And it ties it in your head. And come about the business involvement. So when they look at malaria, you say you are solving malaria. Somebody is looking at you at how much money is making out of your malaria. It's not interested in anything. If they want to eliminate malaria, they don't have to push it as contract to the big men who are already overburdened with the money. Let's have R&D, Ministry of Health. What are they sitting down there? And you want to talk about eliminating malaria, and the Ministry of Health is not involved. You're telling us our billionaires, and you want us to believe it. I am one of the people that said, it's already dead on arrival. We know how it's going to end. So, for the next 100 years, we'll be researching on malaria, selling drugs, searching malaria.
Does this also line up with what Okonjo-Iweala is actually? She said it in different ways, in different papers, have the way they highlighted it. But on The Guardian, he said, on page 3 actually, Okonjo-Iweala asked politicians to stop weaponizing insecurity. Now malaria is somewhat makes us insecure. Now also there are bandits and kidnapping. People hear that people are kidnapped and all that. But someone who is somewhat in the circle is saying that this is a weapon. It's not really, it doesn't just come. What's your reaction?
When somebody like Okonjo-Iweala, our much cherished daughter, and somebody who has maintained what they call the decent life, and somebody who can speak and you can pick some things you can take home, speaks, there must be some element of truth. Somebody using insecurity is another big time business. Go to or make inquiries. Google how much they sell AK-47. And which Nigerian organization manufacture AK-47. But it's exchanging hands in Nigeria.
And
when they find one AK-47 in the hand of one person, that person has established a multi-billion naira business around it. They just pick one person. And you're talking about 50 million, one person.
You see,
as a ransom.
Sorry, in the news, apologies. In the news, a particular woman was transporting ammunition. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 10. A woman, that brings us to your question. How do they get it? A woman that sells palm oil.
You're just saying that an army, a Nigerian army registered with the number was given, was found with about 5 AK-47 being delivered across to the terrorists, with all the packaged. Most of the terrorists, like some of them that have been neutralized by Nigerian army, find themselves that when you neutralize one terrorist, you find that the Nigerian army registered ammunition is what he's using. So it's like round robin, throw away and catch. And this has kept us where we are. They can keep saying Nigerians, we tell ourselves a lot of lies. And we're expecting that things will get better. This is that where I'm more worried, nobody's safe. We are dying. We're dying of hunger. We're dying of sickness. We're dying of insecurity in this country. We are dying of stress. Like even to discuss Nigerian issues, stress, and you can see how stressed I am. A lot of things, I was growing up when one lecturer told me, he said, an average Nigerian kid is faced with 95% risk to his life. So if an average Nigerian grow from 0 age to 5 years, and what he has survived to get to year 5 is more than 1 million risk, more than his or her contemporary in other countries of the world. A Nigerian child, what he passes through. So when you see us as Nigerian men and women at this age, just imagine what we pass through to get to this level. And we give it to God, who fights sin and unseen battle for us. And that's it. What we even see that God saves us from in this country, it's overwhelming and so much. And we say we have a government. The same government tax civil servants from, because if civil servants can avoid paying tax, they will avoid. But they can't because they are taking, their own is taken from source. But these big men that control their funds don't pay funding. I worked with an organization that are doing water and sanitation reform. When we are talking about making people to pay for water they use, you get a big man house in Nigeria, when the other end of the street, people don't find a cup of water to drink. A big man pipes water corporation water into his house, put it on the lawn to water his garden 24 hours, and put security man and dogs. He doesn't pay one thing about water rate. A big man. He doesn't pay water rate. If he find a way, some of them can afford to run their generator for
You think they don't pay for the water?
Pay to who? I'm just saying what a research has said. 95% of big men in Nigeria don't pay for anything, any service. They always find a way around it. They don't pay tax. It's only people that government collect their money from that pay directly source. Whatever they pay, unless you hook them, they're going to do one business. They go and manipulate on their pay tax to get papers. Because Nigeria deal with a lot of papers. If you have data, you enter into data, they show you what you have not. How many Nigerians have TIN? Tax identification number. Call it up. Because when the Federal Ministry of Internal Revenue sees it, if all Nigerians who are all these ones, politicians campaigning, let them show their TIN number and they let them click on the computer and tell us how much they paid. Through all this money they pack. In more sane society, if you make certain level of money, the system tax you that you won't want to make further money. So if you make further, you give it to charity. That's why you have Ford Foundation and all those ones giving money to Africa. You think they love you so much? It's because the money they're making in the American system cannot accommodate because the American system is taxing them so much. A country like Nigeria allows an individual to make 1 billion, 100 billion, put in the same account. We go to the same market, no tax. A bank in Nigeria is holding it, and we are seeing it. If it's in more sane society, you make start money. The tax, they will tax you, we will not encourage you to. You just relax and go retirement. But here you amass, and even go into killing people because that's killing. You chop one single person, we chop what 100 million people we need to. And we say we're staying in a sane society and we're expecting peace. So much. So they weaponize insecurity. If you are walking the street, palpitation, fear is enough weapon that make you just stay. Walk in the street, where I'm coming from now. I didn't pass more than 10 vehicles to get to here. The street is totally dry. Why? If it's not sit at home, it is fear of kidnap. If it's not, it's fear of people are. So what kind of weapon? Yeah. When you weaponize and hold people psychologically in bondage, they can't even talk. They look at their shoulder at every corner. They can't attend events, social event that survived Nigeria.
So this is also like in tandem, like they said at the Vanguard, the Guardian. I beg your pardon. The unholy secrecy of National Assembly members' pay package.
It will come one day. Let the secrecy go on. On this particular desk, we have talked about it. Some will say 21 million.
But why do you think they've not actually come out to say this is how much we earn?
They have tried to say...
As in, this is, apart from, this is the salary, this is the working cost, this is...
If it's a country where people care, of what people feel and say. By now, country, no matter how you cry and talk about, they will leave it as secrecy. Why is National Assembly, distinguished senators, what are they hiding? If they are so much, if this thing is so much right and they deserve it, they are right, publish how much you earn. At your base salary, your newspaper, your furniture. And these things are broken down in, you go to work, a private or public employer tells you, gives you a pay package, transport will be, all those. These ones, they break their own down into months. Why is it scary? That a single individual goes home with 21 million naira pay package.
Or you think
no matter
it's
how
because
you think,
they've not found a way to reconcile between the man that owned up to say that, hey, we earned 21, and Shehu Sani, the respected Senator Shehu Sani, who actually came out to say, hey, please, we're not paying, we don't earn 1 million. You know, with their much to be said about it. Do you understand?
There are
Do
more
you
than
think they're
one
trying
it's
to
not just
reconcile
some-
all the parts, you know, to come to agree?
Before they now come outside
before they
to
will
say,
come out
okay,
to say,
whatever is
okay,
making
out
the
with one
delay.
yes, you know,
Whatever
that
is making
our
the
wives,
delay,
we have to...
whatever is making the delay, if it's
You
in
know.
the law court, they say, the judges are not witchcrafts, they are not witch juju doctors. How much we earn? Have the Senate taken him to court and said you have told lies? Red chamber of
And
Nigeria.
this is more than
They've
3
not
days
said,
and
they've
running.
kept mute.
This is more than 3
They
days
kept
and running.
mute, and what they're doing, talking from both sides of them, when they find why they are public servants, if they feel they are serving us, what nothing is hidden. Even how much they get should be open so that, and they could justify it so that when they say they are taking pay cuts, we will know how much they have.
Chris, should we actually change the name from public servants? Should it be changed? It's just we're asking in Signature TV. You can go that we are still live on YouTube. Josh actually announced we are also live. Are they public servants or are they public looters? So that we identify and know where they belong. We're asking your take.
So it's a debate for another day. Looters, public, private. Well, some even call for making it, why not PLC? Is it the Nigerian Senate PLC or National Assembly PLC? So you'll be registered company, so we buy share into it and then we make it purely business. If you want to sit in the National Assembly, we pay you allowance and you sit in and we check how much because I've attended an event in Igbo land and the company was just
vowed to protect rule of law and to tolerate dissenting voices.
Yes.
But then again, we've seen that about 32 accounts of 32 accounts associated with the hashtag end bad governance
What's the
protest.
newspaper again?
Down here, know that when we're saying the NBA, they are also suspect. A strong organization like Nigerian Bar Association has left the judiciary in a mess. And they're not. They have big conference in Lagos now going on. You go there, you see all the eggheads. Big, the learned gentlemen. Should it be only Femi Falana? When we have billions of them as wearing the same wig, is Femi Falana, does he have two heads?
And gowns.
During the time we have Gani, it was Gani that ruled the legal atmosphere of Nigeria for about 5 decades. Gani, Falana picked up. There used to be this minister of aviation now. Used to be, but he changed sides and he went dead. That will tell you how Nigeria is. But when he was coming out, a young man, he was firebrand. Now he has gone there to decide and he kept mute. That even the rule of law, some of the things has been pinned on him, that he is even fighting to defend the undefendable. That's it. He who pays the piper. So good luck to them. But I'm saying, Nigerian government is quick to freeze accounts of end bad governance hashtag. Beautiful. Wonderful work, my dear Nigerians. Established. You are doing great. What happened to the accounts of the terrorist people who are sponsoring them? Because you have told us several times you know them. If freezing will bring us back to freeze us into reality. Freeze from beginning down. Don't start at the middle. Because freezing only the account of NSAS smacks one thing. Everyone looks at it. This is only this you freeze because we said we are hungry. And the hashtag again has started circulating. I don't know what they call that one.
Yeah.
And nobody is talking about. So they still have so many accounts to freeze. Begin to freeze accounts. We have 210 million Nigerians accounts to freeze. Almost every Nigerian have an account in the bank. So everybody who said, I'm hungry, freeze the account, and then hunger will stop. If anybody say, let me say, I'm not a mouthpiece, but I'm saying, if everybody is going to equity, if God in heaven knows that people are asking for their rights and telling the government, we are calling you to account, give us what we demand, and you is home, you go so dry, ruling us. But if you are trying to intimidate, God in heaven will come down. One day, in one way or the other, whether you believe it or not, he wouldn't allow this to go. So intimidation, freeze account, it don't freeze. If those people are guilty and somebody is sponsoring terrorism using the inside or whatever and the bad governance, freeze the account. But let's be sure they're going to equity with clean hands. If not, you have many more accounts to freeze. We have accounts of people who have scanned Nigeria to a halt. They hold us to juggler. Satanic, corrupt, over-corrupt politicians who amass wealth. The accounts are not frozen. And some of them, even in the, to put crisis in this country, are the ones sponsoring this thing, and nobody is freezing their account. They're sponsoring crisis so that, because the Igbo says, also when there's confusion, the corny people benefit. So when Nigeria is not at peace, some people are making a business, they are making money out of it. Let me tell you that somebody who is sewing the flags of Russia, Russian government, if somebody is made business there, you have how many tellers that were arrested sewing the flags? It's big business. Somebody has cashed into it. That's Nigeria.
And mind you, most of them don't even know the reason for which they were sewing the flag for. Some of them might not know. It might just be the latest business.
According to one of the interviews we had, somebody said they probably were just sewing. They didn't even know the color of the Russian flag.
Who cares? Who knows Russia?
So these are what we are talking about. Now, as things are going, we are reviewing headlines called freezes 32 bank account. Beautiful. So if you are freezing the account, freeze all the accounts of all the people causing trouble in Nigeria, if that will solve our problem. I'm not telling them how to do their work. That's all. I mean, we're not making any claims.
You know there is a huge difference between how things are and how things are meant to be.
Well, until we do it the way it should be, we will continue to suffer.
There is something that just wants to
highlight. So, federal government, when you read this, I was so happy about it. Federal government here to implement 2 months after, and then we had like 4 set of people coming out to list out the things federal government has refused to do. So, federal government is still working on implementation framework 2 months after, says the minister. Delay
of
not
what? Because I took note of that, say
yes.
FG here to implement 2 months after.
Okay, this is the executive order on the medicament, yes. Then we now have delay not worth it. People are dying. And then government must progressively intervene in high tariffs. Then we now have implementation details must be properly worked out.
That's working out 2 months after. Just imagine how many Nigerians, if this will save the life of, let's say, 1 million Nigerians. 2 months after, just imagine what has happened.
But we're very quick to freeze the account of 32.
This is not in a bid for us to overflog the fact that the president bought a presidential jet.
I know, right?
But when the need was for it to come, when he needed to go somewhere, it didn't take a week. I don't think it took, and it arrived. So how come when it comes to, like you said, like we were saying, what it concerns health, we don't rush into health.
2 months to implement. Like I tell you, we have justified tortoise kind of movement, a snail kind of movement procedure in Nigeria. And they will talk, the people in civil service will tell you the wheel of government crumbles or rolls slowly. That's justification. Because like you said,
yes,
federal government was quick to freeze accounts. Federal government were quick to do so many things. Federal government was quick to buy jet when 3 are being seized in France. Federal government was quick to buy yacht. Federal government was quick to buy Escalade or whatever they call that car. That
995 million.
It costs Israel attack.
Yes, I understand the pain he feels.
No, but because
so
let's be honest.
federal government is not in a hurry to reduce the queue. Federal government is not in a hurry to implement when they say they've removed. Because in one day, the price of fuel moved from 230 naira to 700, now to 1,000, now to 1,002 today. Now, the federal government has removed, returned subsidy. We are saying that it should also be automatic, not yet.
Minimum wage, don't forget.
Federal government is having hitches because the hitch in Forex is crumbling import of food. Federal government has not seen that. To remove that hitches, because with just mere presidential pronouncement, everything will be open society. That has not happened. The federal government has not done anything, has not said anything on the unholy secrecy of NAS Jumbo take home. Federal government is quick to tap the 3 millionaires in Nigeria to eliminate malaria.
Chris, you know, so that, like you said, this Nigeria's topic has a way it could convulse a child. Can we be honest to say, are they, I think the question, like we want your take, actually, as you're watching us. This is not just Signature Morning, us, me, myself, Chomalina, Joshua Oritogu, and Chris Madoka doing this review. Do you think they are leaders? What name? We want your feedback. We are live, don't forget, we are live on all social media networks, such as Instagram at Signature TV Officials. We're also live on TikTok at Signature TV Officials. We're also live on Facebook at Signature TV Official.
Yes.
Now, on YouTube, we are 24 hours live. So go drop it. Drop whatever comments. Are they leaders? You know, what do you think about the federal government of Nigeria? Are they leaders?
Because I'm the reviewer, I can't give you an immediate opinion. We have leaders. It's just
or are they tyrants?
No. We have leaders. Please, we have leaders. It's just what type of leaders we have that makes the difference. You have the same leaders with one head we have in Nigeria. We have leaders in Uganda.
But
we have in Kenya.
We
have in America.
But you know that true leaders don't create followers. They
Nigerian environment create Nigerian leaders.
Okay, let's leave the federal government for a while and appreciate the state government of ENUGU that has uncovered 2,640 ghost pensioners and begins payment of council pensions.
There cannot be ghost pensioners.
So you're saying this is not right?
There can never be.
How so?
Let the state government stop deceiving us with ghost.
So
can there be a ghost? It's like what they use the word bastard. Nobody's a bastard. Every child has a child.
A father.
So if your name goes into the playlist, somebody put it there. It's not a ghost. And a name is a name. It belongs to somebody. So even if it's a dog.
So you think this is one of their games?
It's a game. Let nobody stop this. If there were used to be ghost workers, for the last 20 years, every state government is fighting ghost workers. It's a scam. That's me. Pay the pensioners their money. Don't trap up. You know when you speak for the person who is carrying the wound, speak for the fly. Some of these pensioners are crying foul now. But they were there 35 years, some 40 years because they mended their age. Some there were over 50 years working. They never helped the system. So maybe.
But the people you're talking about, how are they?
They are reaping what they sow.
You can you also, is a former president supposed to collect pension? No. So if all of these people, because I recall there's an old man from our village who every time he transports himself, most of the time, to come to the city to collect his pension. And most of the time he'll have to borrow to come and hope, because they've told him, come on so day you will collect. He will come, there's no pension money.
Every day
goes back.
Endless verification in an era.
Remember we did a documentary on that.
Yes, 2024 of digital, what they call it, exploit. You invite people 95 years, some 100 years to come from the extreme, the itinerary, to come to the state capital for verification. Some of them don't get home alive. You think it's not a scam? Because if they drop dead, that's the end of the record. As a relation, you have not gotten the pension when the person who owns the pension is alive. It's when he drops dead. So double wahala for them. But they know what they're doing. Really? Let nobody trump it up. Let them not trump up this ghost worker thing. In fact, it should not be discussed again. It's playing in the mind of people. Who is ghost? It takes ghosts to detect ghosts. So usually we may have ghost government. So ghost civil service, that's where ghosts work. And the other thing that all these big mammoth secretariat they build, when they live there in the evening and go home, that they don't think ghosts are there. So those are the ghosts who go to put those names. And then another ghost come to discover ghosts. If you're not a ghost, how do you discover ghosts? Let us stop this deception. Pay people their pension and then clear the backlog. Let's know where we are. Instead of using it as delay tax, you take another 6 months to detect ghost workers before you start paying ghost pensioners. When you finish paying ghost pensioners, and remember the one alive living pensioners, they're all dead. They've turned to ghosts. You start again. If you cannot pay them, let's be giving them. You know how we worship our ancestors. So you wake up in the morning, call all the dead, all the ghost workers, give them kola nut, pour libation. What is all this? For God's sake. People sitting in that place are still generating ghost lists that will go. How can you take government money to that extent and go? You say government is bold to say ghost. When people who sit in there are the ghosts themselves. That's no one thing about ghost workers. Let's forget that. Let's talk about this. There's this one I said, speeding up criminal justice. I was talking about MBA.
Yeah.
We are not speeding up so many things. Go to prison. Visit any prison. Ask them what is the capacity of the prison. I use that always as an example. For example, ENUGU, I think it's about 600, ENUGU maximum security, that's the Nigerian Correctional Center, has a very old prison. Should have about 650. 650.
But the inmates are over
650. That will tell you the capacity of the prison. Okay. That will accommodate you have a bunk for both the everybody. That's what you can accommodate comfortably. Step into ENUGU prisons, and you see over 6,000 people stuck in there. Out of them, you might find about 300 serving their jail terms. Those are the ones who know where they are going, when they came in and where they are going. The other 5,000 something
700
are there. They don't know where they're going, and they're feeding on the corrupt system. They call them ATM, awaiting trial. If you know the conduit pipe this brings to you. And we have MBA, we have the judiciary, we have the legislature, we have all the arms of government that can speed up criminal justice to eliminate these things. Because I work with an organization, they call them Prisoner Rehabilitation Welfare Organization, PRAWA, in ENUGU. Each time they mobilize the judiciary, the state prosecutor, the Ministry of Justice and all, Ministry of Justice and Judiciary, they move to prison yard, start calling up some of them. Somebody, one made me shed tears one day. Somebody said he stole 2 crates of mineral at 9 Mile. A mineral company, a bottling company at 9 Mile, 2 crates. And he has been in jail for more than 12 years. No record of him existing. In OG prisons. No record. So when they did the prison liberation, the guy came out. He doesn't know way to his house. We started putting money together for him to go. This happened in my presence. I was a communication officer for PRAWA then. It happened in my presence. So these are people. You go to Nigerian prison. Some people are there. They don't know. Their people are forgotten. They don't even know how they got there because they will quickly remand you in prison and they forget you. You don't have access to pro bono lawyers. You don't have access to state prosecuting lawyers. You don't go to court. Because if you don't go to court, nobody will look at your case. So you stay on a waiting trial list for life for stealing 2 crates of beer or 2 crates of mineral. 12 years. It's sad. That will tell you. So many things Nigerian government will need to speed. If you are quick to freeze accounts, please speed up. As the MBA people are meeting in Lagos in their big conference, let them speed up criminal justice in Nigeria. Let them also speed up so many issues. We have new CGM, and they has come out with mammoth of agenda. Beautiful agenda. We are wishing her well. But the system, the sector, the legal system should help to speed up whatever agenda we have. Okonjo-Iweala says slow pace of development in Nigeria, it's not more slow pace. We are not even moving at all. We are static. We have a hold up.
Are we even moving or we are retracing?
That's why I said
we're going backward.
No, if we say we are going backward, it means there's still movement. Because you can go back and we go back to old national anthem. And we're happy to sing.
But
and that's means if we go back to old national anthem, we're happy to sing. We can say we have gone back to some kind of happy old days. But we are not moving at all. We are stuck.
Oh, we've created a different timeline that is different from the past, but we're going back to another different past in dimension.
Because if we're even starting, then fuel price will be what it is.
I was watching some movies with my children. I said, what is happening here? I don't understand. He said, you're an old man. I said, I agree. He said, this film is talking about going back in time. I said, okay, you guys have gotten to the point you go back in time. So when you go back in time, you sing old national anthem. But we're not feeding in the universities those days. I saw an old voucher of University of Ibadan. They posted it online of when a meal at University of Ibadan, 25 kobo. You can feed on chicken.
Oh, I saw one. It was 190 naira. The person bought rice, bought beans,
that
bought
is
meat.
You and IYC. One international year of the youth. Whatever they call it. That's why I describe it, people who have senior or but that's on a very soft note. You witness what you witness, but I'm telling you that we're here. Chris, time used to be 10
Chris, there is something that I think we shouldn't overlook. Is the height of, you talked about it, insecurity, but beyond it, the terrorists are rising. Okay, now Shiites had a clash with the policemen. There is bandits, there are bandits rather, there are headsmen.
They are unknown gunmen.
The government has sworn,
whichever is their name, unknown men,
they've sworn to make sure they fish out the shiites who have killed policemen and all. They should do and fish out. But when you say shiite, nobody is supporting anybody. Killing and taking lives by anybody, even if it's my father, is condemned. And the full arm of justice must run on that person, whoever that person is. But then we say, go to equity with clean hands. If you are fighting the Shiites, or do you say Shiites, or I don't know, before I say
Shiites.
I don't want to mispronounce anybody's name because they are just new, they are not so regular in the news. But now they have done something by showing that they have also grievances. And the federal government has sworn into action.
And mind you, Catholic bishops have already said that protests are we're going to experience more protests.
Let them swing into action and copy order. There's so much annoyance. There's so much grievances in Nigeria. And somebody has suggested we call for reconciliation again in Nigeria. Maybe that will stop us. Because somebody said, when Nigeria said the world is moving too fast, we said the world will stop for Nigeria to jump out. If this world is moving too fast for Nigeria, he said, stop the bus. Nigeria won't come out. Oh, Nigeria, let Nigeria leave the bus so that the world continues. It's not more possible. We must move along with the world. Whoever is fighting, fight the terrorists, fight the terror, no matter what they come. Don't do selective fighting because it will ricochet, it will fight back. Petrol pricing, Dangote refinery. Some people are brainstorming on fixing price. And I said, this is another sabotage against 210 million Nigerians. Why are you bothering about brainstorming on fixing price of fuel that has not been manufactured? Allow the market fix price give this man crude oil, let him refine and sell at whatever the price comes. If it's too high, let us begin to see amendment because tariff in a regulated economy has to be discussed. We don't just. But now that you already fixing price for him before he manufacture, if his fuel comes out at 200 naira, you fix it at 700 for him. In Alwana, are you helping Nigeria? Why not allow? You have not given refined crude oil to Dangote. You're already brainstorming on how much you will sell. I smell what you. It's not fair. And you are talking to us as Nigerians, as at this morning, 1,200 naira per liter. Give all the refineries crude oil.
Okay, so Ondo to host biggest entrepreneurship festival in Africa, event to attract over 200 investors. I know we've spoken about a lot of things that are going wrong, but this looks like something that is going right.
Yes. Hosting, you know when you say hosting, it will bring, if we really, event hosting and all brings money,
yes,
brings traffic into Nigeria, it's after what happened. So it's a wonderful thing, even if it's not international, even if it's local. Nigerians have a lot of enterprising people who will go there, learn one or two things, or even come there to exhibit the entrepreneurial skills they have, God-given. Wonderful Nigerians, resilient people, happiest people on earth, who can do, in very serious situations, Nigerians will find a way of surviving and still be happy. Why I worry is that so many things are just fighting that our happiness and resilience. And you know, there's limit to everything. No matter how resilient, if you don't kill a beetle. Nigerians are like beetles. No matter how you try, but you get to a point where even you carry the beetle and put inside the hot fire, the beetle dies. So you don't get a beetle to that extent of torture, and we can survive, yes, but with a good environment.
Yes.
Imagine when they host such events and Nigerians, boom, people are learning new trade, people are learning new way of doing things, and people are given a good environment to even show their entrepreneurial skills, and then can see young Nigerians. Instead of, if they can find one meal a day, because one meal is not square. So don't say one square meal. If they find one meal a day, they might start telling their colleagues, I used to be hungry, and I take to the street to do crime.
All right,
and
Chris.
involved in protest. But now that I have opportunity, I'm seeing a lot of opportunity. Why not come join me?
True.
So these have become the people who will begin to push. They will begin to push.
Well, Chris, thank you very much.
Thank
you very much.
You can't wait
because of time.
It's like you say, Chris, I'm
it is because of time. It's because of time.
Here.
Thank you for
No, but that's a misconception.
Insights.
We always like to have you.
Of course, we do.
I always be glad to come back.
Just that time isn't on our side.
I don't want to stay.
So that was the newspaper review, headlines in review with Chris Madika. Thank you very much for coming to the studio this morning.
Thank you, Josh.
Now we're going to be moving over to Abuja Dateline with Godwin Sunday. Godwin Sunday is live from Abuja to give us the latest updates in Abuja. Godwin, good morning. Godwin, good morning. Can you hear me?
Hello, Godwin. Hello, Godwin. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, so this is Abuja this morning. And as you can see, it rained in Abuja today. And the rain is a bit heavy here in the Federal Capital Territory. In Abuja. I'm at the rail line here in Abuja, and you can see from a distance, you can see the rain. But then let me give you an update of what.
Hello, Godwin.
Okay, we will be getting back to Godwin Sunday to give us much more updates about Abuja. Chioma, that was intensive when it comes to Chioma, please. So, interestingly, would you be going for the entrepreneurship class in Ondo States?
We keep thinking about
it.
Let's get back to Godwin.
Godwin, good morning. I hope you can hear us now. Godwin.
You know, he did say that it was raining.
Yes,
the rain is
okay, I think he's back. He's back now.
Hello? Hello, Godwin. Can you hear us? Like you rightly said,
can you hear me now?
In those states, it's something we
should
look into. Like you said, it's a good, welcome development.
You're welcome, very welcome.
Okay, Godwin, you're back with us, I presume. Somehow, I hope MTN has not removed subsidy.
Well, tariff has increased, of course. Yes,
Yes,
we can hear
can
you.
hear you. Off and on.
All right, so I'm in a place here in Abuja, and this is a train station. Now, I'm here to monitor the situation going on in the train station. Now, Choma, I trust you to know that this is one of the most risky places to ever be in the Federal Capital Territory. Just down here, you can't walk on this road. You can't walk on this road down here. You can't walk on this road without being afraid. On that train path, you can't walk on that road without being afraid of being kidnapped by various persons. And also, this is why you have most of the rail line kidnaps in the Federal Capital Territory. Now, I'm here to monitor, do people still use train in the Federal Capital Territory? And what's the update on train movement in the Federal Capital Territory, even as of this morning? So that's what I'm here to do. But let me give you an update, a quick update on the weather. It is raining here in the Federal Capital as we speak right now. It's still raining. Now the cloud is already gathering again to switch to rain. And you can see movements are just trying to pick up for the last 1 hour. There's not been movement in the Federal Capital Territory. But right now, we have a bit of movement right now. People are coming out of their houses and they're going to their workspace. Now, it might interest you to know also that in the Federal Capital Territory this morning, there is heavy traffic across the 5 divisions and across the various axes of the Federal Capital Territory this morning. Now, from coming in from Nyanya, there is heavy traffic at Nyanya access this morning. Very heavy traffic. From Nyanya to AYA, there is heavy traffic this morning. Now, if you're coming from AYA, you need to brace up because the traffic there is second to none. You can spend approximately from Maraba, coming in from Nasarawa, you can spend 2 hours on that road if you're coming in this morning. Same thing we're experiencing at Zuba. If you're coming in from Zuba this morning, you need to brace up because there is heavy traffic at Zuba, just at the roundabout. Now, if you're coming in from Kuali, then down through to Zuba, heavy traffic on that road. Choma, you don't want to imagine it this morning. It's so heavy this morning. Now, I have it on good reports also this morning. If you're coming in from Kuali, you're coming in from Kwagwalada, there is also a bit of slow movement on that axis. It is raining here in the Federal Capital Territory. We call this blessings right now. You can feel from here the rains are dropping. We have outpour here already in the Federal Capital Territory this morning. Let's call it the rain of abundance and whatever you want to call. Now, let's move on a bit from there. Let me give you a quick update from this where I'm standing right now. Where I'm standing right now is a security threatening zone where I'm standing right now. If you're not careful, you might be picked up, you might be kidnapped. Something strange might just happen to you. Because down here, you have hooligans under the bridge that stay under the bridge. Now, that's not cool. This is the Federal Capital Territory. I don't know how we got to this point. And now, if you go in front there, you cannot walk on this path, Shoma, without being afraid of being picked up. Now, also on the other axis also, it is a little bit of life-threatening. Now, I don't know what it is, but Shoma, I have to leave there right now. It's raining. The rains are coming down. I have to just leave. The rains are coming down right now. I'll keep you updated on going forward and what's going on in the Federal Capital Territory. But it's raining profusely here, and I need to just take a cover. I need to take a shoot right now.
Okay. So sorry. Apologies for that. We wanted to ask you if the kidnapping, you mentioned about the kidnapping. Does the kidnapping happen during the day? And how safe are you? Because we are concerned about your safety as well. How safe are you right now? Hello, Godwin? Okay,
I think we might have lost him because of the rain.
Yes.
Well, currently, if you're in Abuja and you want to leave your house, make sure you go out with your umbrella.
Very vital. Even if you're driving,
yes, please still have it in your car, yes, just in case you want to
pull up and still come out and do your deeds.
Well, it's still Signature Morning, and this is still the Signature Morning Show. We'll be going on a very short break. When we come back, we'll be coming back with more. Interviews are lined up, and you do not want to miss.
just like you have already stated, I read it yesterday, and my mindset is not because of the increase, but how soon could that be done? I'm engaged in doing a passport for somebody. That passport has taken me about 4 months, and yesterday it came out. There was a mistake in it. So these are the things. It's not just increasing, but the effectiveness in getting it as soon as possible is what matters. I know the cost of printing has actually shot up. That is considerable.
It's a suffering now. How will you give a child a heavy thing and tell him not to cry? It's a very bad thing now. So for me, it's not reasonable. So they should be right to what they are doing. They are dealing with the people. They are not dealing with the animals. They cry for the public to elect them. They are giving them opportunity. Now they are turning things upside down. So,
Like 70% of people in this country, everybody wants to move out of this country. Because when you go into abroad, not being in this country, you know how things is easy then than this country. We know how we are suffering in this country now. We know things, you are buying something like 100 naira now, you are buying something 1,000 naira now. So almost every night, even I can say 90% of people want to move out of this country. So everybody wants something that will be easy for them. That's what maybe they are saying any amount they can pay to just move out of this country. Even me, like what I'm telling you, is what maybe I can pray for.
Yes, I'm not happy about that because of the cost, the higher the price of that is the higher of the passport. So I'm not in support of that.
To me, it's justifiable looking at, based on the place you're sitting to watch it. I said it's justifiable considering the fact that things are going up in the market every day. And
This is still Signature Morning, and we are on Signature TV. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles at Signature TV Official on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And a new thing, yes, we are live 24 hours